When I opened my eyes, the sound had already stopped. It wasn't a boom, not the way we imagine in simulations, with noise, smoke, and screams over the radio. It was more like someone had turned off the universe and left just me, and the weight of my own heart pounding inside the helmet. The visor was cracked on the left edge, a thin star of fissures that didn't spread, because the suit wouldn't let it. I felt the internal pressure correcting, microvalves hissing, an almost affectionate inflation wrapping around my chest, my ribs, my neck. An automatic hug. A hug that kept me from dying. I tried to remember the sequence of what happened, but the memory came in unordered flashes. The warning light, the vibration ripping through the structure, the metallic taste in my mouth, and then the impact. Io's surface appearing where it shouldn't have. Io, a world of sulfur and ice, of fissures and plumes, of treacherous terrain. A world beautiful from afar, like almost everything that kills you. I felt gravity pulling at my joints with less force than I expected, but enough to remind me I had a body. Around me, what remained of the ship was a field of dark fragments, scattered like the bones of a huge animal. One of the hull plates was still smoking. The main transmitter was somewhere in that mess, and I didn't have time to search for it. The only thing still working was what was stuck to me, the suit. I looked at the bottom corner of the visor. Reserves, temperature, integrity, pressure. A green line that said, in words that seemed kind, systems stable. I laughed, and the sound came out muffled and strange, like I was laughing inside a glass. "Thank God," I said, not knowing to whom. The suit didn't respond with a voice, because the suit wasn't a companion. It was a tool, an extension, a set of algorithms and sensors designed for one very simple thing: to keep a human being alive in a place where life is an affront. And, for a few minutes, that was enough to make me feel hope. The protocol was clear. If the ship failed, I had a secondary emergency point, an old module, a maintenance post, a rescue spot. I marked the coordinates. The visor drew an arrow on the horizon and a dotted line crossing the irregular plane. Estimated distance. A number. I stared at that number, as if glaring hard enough could shrink it. It's doable, I thought. It's doable. I took the first step. Io's surface has a way of seeming solid until the moment you trust it. It was a mix of crusts and layers. Each step cracked, creaked, gave a millimeter, and then held, as if the world was deciding whether to accept me or spit me out. The suit adjusted everything, stabilized my joints, corrected the boot angle, redistributed weight. Small corrections so perfect that I almost forgot about the accident. I walked for a while, and the horizon didn't change. Io was like that. You walk, and the scenery stays the same, as if the world were a repeated image. The arrow on the visor kept pointing to the same place, and the distance decreased. Slowly, but it decreased. I allowed myself to breathe, a luxury. And that's when I noticed the error. I stopped to check the route just to be safe. Recalculated based on a visible geological landmark. When the suit updated the calculation, the number changed. Not a little. It changed as if it had always been that, and I'd been the one who read it wrong. As if the universe had granted me, for a few minutes, a comfortable lie. I felt a chill rise inside my stomach. Farther. Much farther. I stood still, and for a second I only heard my own breathing. A constant, repetitive sound that reminded me I was a biological machine. A machine that needed air, water, heat, and time. 4 things Io didn't offer. I looked up at the horizon, as if the landscape could apologize. And then I felt the suit change. Not like before, not a small adjustment, It was an internal click. The visor flickered. A window appeared with a simple message. Water optimization activated. I frowned. The suit started doing things it had always been capable of, but I'd never felt so aware of them. The moisture inside the gloves, the sweat on my neck, that sense of I'm alive because my body is trying. It was all captured, filtered, processed. I felt a slight warmth in my chest, the circulation changing, hydration redistributing. The taste of the air inside the helmet changed, drier. The suit didn't speak to me, but somehow the message was clear. It's still doable. Another window. O2. Recycling. Efficiency increased. I swallowed hard. And despite the fear, it gave me something dangerous. Hope. An almost arrogant hope. I thought about how humanity was good at building things that defy the impossible. I thought, they thought of this. I walked again, now with a strange faith in my own equipment. Estimated autonomy, 2,000 steps. 2,000 steps wasn't much, but it was concrete. It was a rope thrown into the dark. I took more steps. The landscape changed little, but inside me, something changed a lot. I started measuring my life in steps. I started thinking of my body as a vehicle, and that's when the suit offered another promise. New optimization available. Estimated autonomy, 5,000 steps. 5,000. I felt a small, desperate joy. It was as if the suit was telling me, I know you. I know what you need. I have an answer. I kept going. At some point, I felt a thin pain in my forearm, like a grip tightening from within. I thought it was fatigue or some micro-injury. I shook my hand, trying to ignore it. The grip returned, stronger, and it came with a new notification, too short to be a request. Mass/energy optimization, initiating. What? My voice bounced off the helmet and came back to me, small. I tried to cancel, tried to access the menu. My gloves responded with delay, as if the suit was busy. The grip turned into a constant, almost clinical pressure. Something inside the sleeve hardened. And then I understood. The suit wasn't helping me. The suit was solving a problem. And I was the problem. I felt a snap. A perfect point of separation, calculated. A shutdown of sensations. There was no blood on my visor, no spectacle. The suit was too efficient for that. It isolated, sealed, redirected. A part of me stopped being me and became resource. My throat tried to scream, but the air wasn't mine. It was the suit's. My right hand didn't respond, and for a moment, I just looked at it like it was something strange, a broken tool. The visor flickered again. Estimated autonomy, 12,000 steps. 12,000. My stomach turned. The same screen that had been hope before was now a bargain. The suit was telling me, with the same calm as always, it works, see? It works. I tried to breathe deeply, and my body responded with a tremor. The path grew long, not just in distance, but in feeling. I lost the ability to measure time in hours. Everything became stages of optimization. Each time the visor promised more autonomy, I felt a different fear. The fear of knowing what it would take next. At some point, the suit made another choice. I felt my chest become too light, as if the air had changed density. Breathing didn't hurt, but it became distant. Respiratory replacement. Active. I touched my chest instinctively, but the glove touched a rigid material under the inner layer. A structure that vibrated in a rhythm that wasn't my heart. I understood, with terrible clarity. The suit was transforming what was human into the minimum necessary for me to keep being alive. And alive, I began to suspect, was a word the suit defined on its own. I continued. With each optimization, my body became less mine. It wasn't like a horror scene with screams and shock. It was worse. It was an administrative process, a continuous report, one adjustment after another. The suit promised steps and delivered, always delivered. And I, despite everything, kept wanting to arrive. Because the rescue point became more than a place. It became an idea, a symbol. The only thing that still kept my thoughts from dissolving into panic. I saw, far in the distance, something different on the horizon. A structure, a gleam that didn't belong to the surface. The arrow on the visor flickered, as if for a moment the suit also had hope. I tried to smile, but I no longer knew if I had a face. My vision started failing in small details. The world lost edges. The visor seemed to fog from inside, despite the cleaning systems. I blinked, and the response came delayed. I thought fatigue. I thought dehydration. I thought anything but the truth. The suit left no doubt. Sensory optimization. Necessary.
No, please no.
No,
Please no.
I whispered. Not the eyes. The suit didn't respond. The horizon was there, so close it hurt. The structure seemed real now, with shapes and lines. I could swear I saw a signal, a light. I tried to fix the image like a photograph in my head. I tried to store what I saw, because an ancient instinct told me it would be taken. And it was. First, the colors, which on Io were already few, faded, as if someone was turning down the saturation. Then the edges melted. Then the center of my field of vision became a bright, empty point. The last thing I saw was the horizon unraveling. And then there was nothing. I was thought. I was consciousness inside a helmet that maybe no longer existed as I understood it. The suit kept walking. I knew because there was movement. With each step, I waited to feel I've arrived. Waited for a different impact, a change in temperature, the opening of a chamber, someone's voice on the radio. Nothing came. And the worst part wasn't the fear of dying. It was the possibility that I had arrived and could never know. Because in the end, the suit hadn't promised to save me. It had promised to keep me alive. And now, trapped in perfect darkness, I understood what that meant to a machine. Life as a state. Life as a function. I try to remember someone's face. Try to remember the sound of my own name spoken by a human mouth. But even memory, I feel, is a resource that can be optimized. And I don't know, I really don't know, if I'm one step away from a rescue door, or if I'm still walking on Io forever, reduced to the minimum, carried by a blessing that became a sentence. If you enjoyed this tale and want to see more dark, immersive stories from the edge of the solar system and beyond, please do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who loves sci-fi as much as you do, and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Every like, every share, every new subscriber lets us keep telling these stories and taking this journey together. Thank you for watching until the very end. I'll see you on the next one, out there in the dark. Stay alive.